Hello, my name is Wang Shigyu, CEO of Institut Pasteur Korea. Today, I would like to take this opportunity to present our endeavor to fight COVID-19. This Korea-Senegal collaboration project is coordinated in the context of Institut Pasteur International Network. Global community is challenged by COVID-19 pandemic. As of today, over 50 million people has been infected, and over 1 million people already died. Recently, daily new infection peaked to over 500,000 cases per day. As you can see, many countries in Europe is now in the middle of a second spike of pandemic. What is daunting is that even after this considerable casualty, no one knows when the COVID-19 pandemic might be brought under control. Question is when and how COVID-19 pandemic might end. The worst scenario is that herd immunity, which corresponds to approximately 70% antibody positivity, is perhaps the end point. In fact, less than 1% of world population has been confirmed to be infected, and approximately 5% of population has been estimated to have antibody. So it may take many more years to come to achieve herd immunity level. So without vaccine and drug, it may cost another millions of lives to reach that point. In other words, herd immunity approach is unethical. Hence, we desperately need drugs as well as vaccine. Institut Pasteur Korea was founded in year 2004 as a member of Pasteur Network Institute. This initiative was the product of a long-term warm friendship between France and Korea, and the aspiration was then to follow footsteps of Louis Pasteur. His legacy is to explore basic science to solve the challenge of society. Institut Pasteur International Network constitutes 32 institutes across 5 continents. Importantly, Pasteur Network Institutes are strategically located to respond to the pandemic effectively. For instance, we have 6 institutes in Central Africa, where Ebola virus outbreak occurred in 2014. And we have 4 institutes in South America, where the Zika virus outbreak started in year 2016. In addition, we have 2 institutes in China, one in Hong Kong and one in Shanghai, where the SARS and SARS-CoV-2 pandemic started. Institut Pasteur Korea is built with the R&D infrastructure to cope with the new pandemic properly. First, we are built with the biosafety level 3 laboratory, essential for handling highly pathogenic agents such as SARS-CoV-2. In addition, we have high-content drug screening platform, which is the essential infrastructure for drug discovery. Importantly, we have one set of screening platform in BSL-3 laboratory. Thus, we are able to screen drug for SARS-CoV-2 immediately after the pandemic started. In other words, the screening platform inside of BSL-3 laboratory paid off, as you will see in a minute. Drug discovery typically takes 5 to 10 years, which is not suitable strategy for pandemic. Hence, upon COVID-19 pandemic, we started a drug discovery project, what we call drug repositioning. Drug repositioning is to repurpose drug, which is already clinically approved, but for new indication, in this case, COVID-19. In fact, drug discovery is composed of multiple steps, from discovery to preclinical, then clinical study. Clinical study in human is further divided into 3 steps, phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3. Drug repositioning is to test a set of clinically approved drugs and screen them for new disease in cell-based assay. The strength of drug repositioning is to expedite drug discovery process by passing multiple steps, then proceed directly to phase 2 or phase 3 study for clinical validation. Finally, the study outcome can then be submitted to regulatory agency for drug approval. Institut Pasteur Korea is built with the phenomic screen technology, which is essentially cell image-based drug screen technology. Briefly, first we set up cell-based assay for SARS-CoV-2 infection, then adopt the cell-based assay to a well plate, which is size of palm. Cells in plate is then treated with draw. Following a few days incubation, cell image is taken and subject to analysis for drug efficacy. Specifically, we took over 30,000 draw, including 1,500 FDA-approved draw, and screened them for antibody activity for COVID-19. From primary screening, we chose over 20 draw with a significant antibody activity. And by considering other features, such as drug toxicity, we nominate 4 drugs as a candidate for human clinical trial. Today, I will be presenting 2 drugs, which is now on clinical trial. First, nafamostat is a clinically approved drug in Japan and Korea. It is approved as anticoagulant. And we and others shows that nafamostat has more than 100 times potent antiviral activity than remdesivir in cell-based assay. Nafamostat is generic drug as its patent has been expired already. Nafamostat is currently under clinical trial in Korea, Senegal, Russia, and Japan. Secondly, camostat is also clinically approved drug in Japan and Korea. It is approved for chronic pancreatitis. Camostat is more suitable for mild patients as it is orally taken. Camostat is also generic drug currently under clinical trial in Japan, USA, and Mexico. Let's consider how drug might work. First, viral infection can be divided into 2 phases, viral phase and inflammatory phase. In viral phase, SARS-CoV-2 virus enters the cell via its binding to cellular receptor called ACE2. Following entry to the cell, virus propagates and eventually kills the infected cell. In following inflammatory phase, the host induces immune response to infected cell, and immune cells such as macrophage release cytokine, which is often called cytokine storm. Blood clotting is another complication associated with COVID-19 pneumonia. In terms of mode of action, both nafamostat and camostat inhibit viral infection by blocking viral entry to the cell by inhibiting enzyme called TMPRSS2, which is an essential enzyme for viral entry to the cell. In addition, nafamostat, which is approved drug as anticoagulant, may mitigate blood clotting complication associated with COVID-19 pneumonia. In other words, nafamostat is expected to play a dual role, antiviral activity as well as anticoagulation activity. To validate clinical benefit of this drug for COVID-19, currently we are carrying out clinical trial abroad as well as in Korea. First, we started both nafamostat and camostat trial in Korea in May and June, and then we started the phase 3 trial of nafamostat in Senegal this August. This Korea-Senegal project was coordinated by 2 Pasteur Institute, IP Korea and IP Dhaka. From this, we extend nafamostat trial to Russia. Now, further, we are recently started camostat trial in Mexico. To facilitate the clinical trial, we teamed up with the 2 drug companies in Korea, Jongmundang Pharma for nafamostat, Daeung Pharma for camostat. At the end of the day, if the clinical benefit for COVID-19 patient is confirmed, we are going to submit the study data to regulatory agency for emergency use authorization. To sum up, 2 clinically approved drugs, nafamostat and camostat, have been repurposed for the treatment of COVID-19. The clinical trial of nafamostat and camostat is underway in Senegal and Mexico, respectively. And finally, it is hoped that Pasteurian spread from Korea to Senegal is instrumental to overcome COVID-19 crisis. And it is my pleasure to introduce our team. First, Dr. Seung-taek Kim and David Shum of IP Korea, who contribute to discovery of COVID-19 drug candidate. And Dr. Shaw, the CSO of IP Korea, and Dr. Sa, Director of IP Dhaka, for their contribution to international coordination of a clinical trial. Last but not least, I wish that our Pasteurian endeavor from laboratory to hospital, from Korea to Senegal, will pay off to overcome the challenges of our society. Thank you for your attention. Thank you. The question I have is that how closely the cooperating, how closely you are engaging and cooperating with the government in their research. And the Korean government, particularly Ministry of Science and Technology, are fully supporting my project, not in the laboratory project as well as the clinical trial. And another question is that the RNA vaccine from Pfizer can be available soon from Germany and USA, and drug like nafamostat will be relevant. I think we still not sure about when the vaccine will be available. It takes time to delivery, it takes time to administration, and nafamostat is already approved drug. And so once the clinical trial is finished, we can use directly. I don't think any viral drug can be completely cured by vaccine. You need the antiviral anyway. And another question I have is that about the prioritization of drug repositioning over discovery. And upon pandemic, only option for the therapy is drug repositioning because it takes drug discovery typically takes 5 to 10 years, and that is not suitable for pandemic. For instance, 2 drugs already available, remdesivir and dexamethasone, is also product of drug repositioning. Another question is, when do you think the pandemic and health crisis will be over? I think we have to wait until sometime second half of next year when the vaccine is available and when the drug is available. But I feel personally it is very promising because we have the vaccine, RNA vaccine, which it looks very promising, and we have the drug and the anti-spike antibody, which is also very promising. Another question is that, do you think that another virus might come after Corona? It's possible because past 10 years we have, bird flu, and we have the Zika virus outbreak, we have Ebola virus outbreak, and because of the global warming and increased trading and transportation, and there are I heard that there are 100,000 the animal virus can infect human. So it's possible that another virus may come sometime later. And regarding the new pandemic, I think the drug repositioning is the best way. So we can do drug repositioning in advance. For instance, we can do drug repositioning for dengue virus or chikungunya virus, where no drug is available. So my institute is trying to do drug repositioning for dengue virus and chikungunya virus in the near future. The question I have is that the global collaboration is working very well or not. I think we witnessed that in this year. This is really unprecedented that we have vaccine within a year. We have 2 drugs within 6 months, and I think the many private sector company, drug company, and academia and public institute really work together to resolve this issue. And another question I have is that whether Paris Peace Forum might help my project. I like to promote the clinical trial because we are doing clinical trial, but we need more. For instance, nafamostat, we are doing clinical trial for the hospitalized patients, but I would like to do clinical trial for mild patient as well. And so I hope that I can be contacted by clinicians who are interested in clinical trial of nafamostat. And I have a question about Russian vaccine, and my personal opinion is that we have to wait until the data is out. Until then, I have reservation on Russian vaccine. The question I have is that whether I'm thinking the launching trial of nafamostat in Europe. I would like to do that because one of the problems of nafamostat is that nafamostat is not approved in Europe. So many European clinicians are very concerned about safety. But I would like to do nafamostat trial in Europe, particularly for the mild patients. The question is that when do you expect to see the results of the clinical trial? And we are doing clinical trial in Senegal and Russia and Mexico. And one in Russia is going very well. So we expect to see the outcome of clinical trial in Russia and sometime next year, or part of next year. The question I have is that what is the challenge in coordinating international clinical trial? First, thanks for this question. And the coordinating international clinical trial for COVID-19 is challenging, but I like to point out 3 things. First, it is challenging to convince clinicians in other countries that drug we found in cell-based assay has potential therapeutic efficacy. And so we have to present in vitro data as well as clinical data we obtained in Korea. Second thing is that both nafamostat and camostat are approved drug only in Japan and Korea, but not USA and not European country. So clinicians involved in the trial are very concerned about drug safety. So we have to provide very extensive documents on drug safety. So the point is that I really appreciate the value of Pasteur Network, because we can start the Senegal project immediately, because Pasteur Network is something going on, friendship, and they are ready for collaboration. So it doesn't take much time to get involved then. So I really appreciate the value of Pasteur Network for doing this kind of clinical work. And another question is that whether medical research need more funding or enough money available in your opinion. I think personally funding is there. The important thing is how to use it, how to deploy the funding for the life experiment. That's the more important thing. Another question is why herd immunity is unethical. The COVID-19, the fatality rate is 2 to 10%. So it is unethical to let the people get infected. Many of them can die. For instance, people with high risk group who are older than 65 years old, the fatality is nearly 5 to 10%. So we can let people die. And another thing is that when the people recovered from the infection, they are not fully recovered. They are very sick. And so we cannot do that. But fortunately, vaccine will be available soon in next few months. And so now we have vaccine available. And so we don't have to worry about herd immunity. The question is about the post-COVID illness. I'm not clinician myself, but what I heard is that people who are cleared from viral infection, many of them, vast majority of them are really sick. They are suffering all kinds of disease, not just pain, breathing, and some people mental problems, all kinds of disease they are suffering. And it lasts months and months. So the sequelae of COVID-19 is not trivial. And I think I have 5 more minutes to go, and because I don't see any more questions. If you do not mind, I'd like to stop here. Thanks so much, and I appreciate your participation. Thank you.